Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Leesburg. Our theme for this year is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And our focus this month, how wonderful, a pause for guidance. The title of our talk today is G.P.S, your guidance positioning system. And our talk will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We're so glad that you joined us here today. So sit back, get comfortable, and we will begin our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Later in our service, we will have our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. So if you have any concerns or celebrations that you'd like us to include in our prayer, please feel free to add them to the chat or the comment section. And now it's time to move into meditation with Charlene Banks.
Thank you, Tamara. Always so beautiful. What a job you do opening sacred space. And so here we are, yet another Sunday in August where we are, as Tamara mentioned, this is a pause for guidance. And so we just take this time to do our community meditation where we center in and just listen as a community so we can deepen our spiritual practice. So if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and get comfortable in your seat. Take a nice deep breath, unless you're driving, at which point you want to keep your eyes open. And just go ahead and deep breath in. Allowing all the busyness of the day to float away. And with inner vision, turning our inward eye to the divine spark within each of us. And we allow our body bodies to relax. Allow the muscles in the face to relax. Letting the jaw slacken. In this moment, we are aware of the divine. For it lives, it moves, it has its being in and as us. It is the allness of life. Everything that there is resides in the one. As our breath moves in and out of our bodies, our awareness deepens that we are the hands of God. Think about that for a second. How does God show up in the world and help and heal? It's through others. It's through us as God helping God. It's an amazing awareness. And we turn within to hear, to listen. What is ours to do? What is mine to do? It could be a smile at a stranger. It could be an anonymous donation to some cause. It could be delivering some meals to the hungry. What is mine to do? How can I be a blessing to others in this day? We know that we release worry. Worry has not brought happiness or health to anyone. When we focus on love and ask how we can serve, that dissolves hate. As darkness has no power over the light, and hell is cooled by the breath of heaven, so evil cannot fight. And so, as our spiritual community, I encourage each of us to just hold non-resistant thoughts about the present world around us, non-resistant awareness, while also deepening into our peace and our love for ourselves and each other. As we do that, that changes the world. And so, as we close this time of contemplation, I know that each one of us are becoming more and more aware of the power that we have to change the world. And I invite you to return into the room where you are with a sense of gratitude for this awareness and a sense of excited anticipation for what's to come as we move into this world anew, knowing that we're here to help. And so it is. Now we're going to hear from Leah.
Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear, and I can't help but ask myself how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. It's driven me before, and it seems to have a vague, haunting mass appeal. But lately I'm beginning to find that I must be the one behind my wheel. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes, yes. Whatever tomorrow brings, I will be there. I'll be there. So if I decide to wave my chance to be one of the high, have I chosen water over wine? Will I hold my own and drive? It's driven me before, and it seems to be the way that everyone else gets around. But lately I'm beginning to find that when I drive myself, my light is found. Whatever tomorrow brings, I will be there with open arms and open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I will be there. I'll be there. That song came out when I was in high school, and my little sister, who is 6 years younger than I am, And I used to sing that in our Ford Aerostar. I would drive, I would drive, and Joy would sing the harmonies with me. Yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there.
Woo! That was amazing. All right, let me respotlight myself. Just hold on. Okay, there we go. So, Leah, just love her. Just love her. I love that the road analogy, because the title of the talk, the GPS, and then the words, wherever the road leads me, I'll be there. Now, she mentioned something in her song, which is totally, I was going to mention this, of course, because we're in sync. Letting someone else drive is one thing. It's interesting about the concept of a GPS, right? Now, we know that GPS means Global Positioning System, and it's based on satellites that are connected to your device using technology, and it knows where you are. So if you open up a map, you're a blue dot on the map. And that's good. It's great to know where you're at. It's always awesome. But the GPS system, Global Positioning System, can be programmed to take you somewhere. When you don't know how to get there, it knows how to get you there. Based on technology, you just punch in the address or even the latitude, longitudinal coordinates, and it will say, "One moment, please," as it maps out the optimal route. You can tell it, I want to walk, I want to drive, I want to take a bus. It's all so smart, right? It's great. Now, the question about this thing is, when you're on a journey, it's good to know your destination, and it's good to have a map on how to get there. And quick side note, do you guys remember how back in the day before we had GPS, we had to go to AAA and tell them where we were going, and then they'd open up this map that's like this big, and then they'd highlight the path for you in yellow, and then you'd have to have you really needed a co-pilot for this. You'd have your co-pilot with the map, and you'd be driving, asking, where do I turn? And then arguments ensue because somebody has it wrong, and they're, oh no, I mean you left, right. So it's a little better now because we are blue dot moving along. And so the analogy of this global positioning system with technology is now given to our lives, and how we can change the G to God's positioning system, where you are on a path, you're on a journey called your life, and you are the driver. So this is the part I want to talk about, where Leah said, I decided to take the wheel. It's important that we know who is driving, right? And since the whole God positioning system requires you to first put a destination in, that could be you're sitting there and you have a dream about becoming a world-class, cyclist. I'm just picking things from the sky. It doesn't matter what. You have a dream and you want to hit that dream. You have a goal. You want to hit that goal. You have a vision for your life that is God ordained, right? And you want to get there. So you got to say, all right, God, how do I get? I am just going to, and this is what we teach in our classes and in this teaching, I am going to begin with the end in mind. I'm going to envision the result I want. Because the deal is, I don't have to know how, because God is my positioning system. It's going to know how to get me from where I'm at, the blue dot, to where I'm going, the destination. And all I have to do is know that I really, I'm going to focus on that destination. What do I want that to look like? And let the universe take care of the rest. So that's the GPS that we're talking about. And in this case, we are the drivers of our own vehicle. We are. Now, this whole analogy is not the first time anybody has given a talk like this. It's not the first time our spiritual journey has been likened to the journey in an automobile where you're using an automated GPS system. And I was kind of looking around and seeing what other people have to say about this. And I found a lot of references from a lot of faith traditions. And one thing I noticed, it's curious. I mean, I love comparing religions just because I'm curious about it. And not in a way to make it this one's good or this one's bad, just to kind of see how we're alike and where we differ. And one thing I noticed was one of the traditions talked about, they were comparing different church or different traditions to different types of buses. And so in the analogies I was looking at, the idea was, I'm going to pick religions. It wasn't this. I can't remember the names of these kind of organizations, but let's say one was Catholic and one was Protestant and one was, I don't know, something else, some other third one. And they said that these were like buses, and the people would get on the bus, and the bus had the G.P.S. system. And I was like, trying to make it make sense in my head, because our teaching has taught us there is no bus. Each person is on their path. And if you get together and get on a bus, sure, but it's not for your whole entire life and your whole entire journey. So it was weird. I was trying to make it make sense and I couldn't. And I realized, oh, okay, well then that must be the difference. Because when Leah said, I realized I have to take the wheel, I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of what I was reading about these buses. I couldn't get it because that, as if this is a curse or a blessing, it acts as both. This thing in my head is very literal. I'm literal, and it's great because I'm a programmer, and my code is usually airtight because I'm so literal. I track everything. It's linear thinking, and it's great. There's not a lot of room for abstract, right? It's binary, yes or no, true or false. There's no, well, sometimes. Nope, can't do it. Not in code, which is why I love code. So there were these analogies about the buses. And I was like, so wait, I have a question. So to get on the bus, you just kind of what? You say some stuff and you get on the bus and then the teaching just takes you there? What about personal actions and personal responsibility? Nothing? And again, I'm not denigrating it. I'm just like trying to make it make sense, and it doesn't fit in my paradigm, and that's all right. It doesn't have to, right? Not everything's going to fit in everybody else's paradigm. And so I found that my main issue with it was that everybody on the bus was just part of this thing because they signed up once, and that was it. I mean, do you ever get kicked off the bus? I had so many questions. And so then I just closed the browser and said, forget it. I'm doing my own thing. So our teaching is this. Everyone has direct access to the divine. We do not have to go through a hierarchical representation of God to get to God. It is personal to every woman, man, being that can connect to it. That's the first thing. And it only speaks to us in our language. So I don't have to translate something that I don't understand to try to make it make sense so that then I can use it. Our teaching says, no. If something resonates with you, great, that's for you. Grab it and move with it. If you hear some stuff that doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Don't fight it. Let it go and look for something that does resonate. Because it turns out God speaks to each and every one of us in a slightly different way, in a slightly different voice. That's why everybody's voice collectively is God, and there's no one who can say that's not and this is, that's bad and this is good. All we can say is, well, this is what works for me, and then use it and refine it. So here we are, we're on this path, and the idea is to start with the end in mind. It could look like a vision board. It could look like a dream, a goal, something that you have that you want. Because the very fact that you're longing for it means that it's God as you looking to expand itself in this manner. Everybody's is going to look different. So step one, know what you want. And then step two, because that's like putting in the destination into the gadget. That's, hey, God, I want to go to this destination. And then God says, all right, calculating, right? And then you got to move. You have to start to move. I don't care if you chose you're going to walk, take a bus, you're going to take a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft, or maybe you're going to drive your own car. The point is, you got to start moving along the road according to the signs that you get. Now, there's a voice that's going to tell you, not quite like the G.P.S. system in your car, in about 3 miles, turn left. No, it's not going to be that loud. So what we have to do is quiet our minds and listen and get our signals and our direction from the still small voice inside. Because the minute we decide that we want to get somewhere, we have to start moving, and we're going to get feedback. We're going to get feedback. It's coming. We're going to get a signal to, oh, take that next, okay, this opportunity right here, this next thing. In fact, when you have your end, when you begin with the end in mind, as we sit and we listen, we're going to get instructions, and we should take them. What we should never do is say, no, that's okay. I don't want to go to that luncheon because it's going to be boring. I am waiting to be invited to Oprah's house, so I don't want to go to that luncheon because it's not Oprah's house. You don't know. Maybe at the luncheon there's going to be someone that knows Gail, and then Gail's going to... You don't know. So you have to say yes to most of the things, because that is moving forward on the journey. In fact, we have an acronym here to share. It's called STOP. You need to stop often so that you can hear what your next step is. STOP is an acronym for silence, time, opportunity, and presence. So we go into the silence and take the time to be still and know that God is. So we're listening. Then while we're in that silence and we're taking the time, we want to find the opportunity to fully experience the silence and the presence. And that's where the presence whispers. Now, presence, not the past, not the future, like the presence can only be experienced in the present. And so that's why if you periodically, daily or even more often, perform the stop method, go into the silence, take the time, find the opportunity to listen to the presence, and then you'll know what the next step is to do. Now, when it comes to positioning systems, sometimes you have to reroute. Let's say you make the wrong turn. Is everything lost because you made the wrong turn? When it comes to our automobile analogy, all is not lost. I mean, in my opinion, my mapping system is very kind. It says recalculating. I mean, I kind of joke with others. I'm like, I want to program it to kind of get a little annoyed with me. Charlene, I told you, make a U-turn at the, and then it heavy sighs. Okay, I guess we're going to take the highway then because you failed to turn. But no, and it's gentle with me. And this is how spirit is too, isn't it? When we take a so-called wrong turn, we didn't do something, we skipped, we procrastinated. Is it that God just says, all right, forget it. I'm not going to take you to your envisioned journey. I'm not going to. No. The universe is very gentle as well. It does recalculate. Just because we missed a turn or didn't do that thing that we kind of felt we should have done, we don't beat ourselves up. We continue moving, and the path will be made straight or will be made anew for us. And that's the gift of having a practice, of having a spiritual mind treatment, meditation, affirmations, the practices we use in this teaching to help us get where we're meant to be. And in fact, the Bhagavad Gita says, God illumines the mind and shines within it. One cannot know God by means of the mind. One can but turn the mind inward and merge into God. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I think about each soul is on a path to evolution, a path that's making us always more and never less of our true selves. And the way that happens is when we take our minds and turn it within and let it be illumined with God's light. And that's how we have our aha moments. We start to become more. Our consciousness expands, and it's infinite that we can expand. No one has reached the end of their consciousness. That's impossible, because there's always more and more and more awareness that we can have. So this work is very rewarding. The other thing about the kind of contrast, the analogy kind of falls flat, as most do eventually. The analogy of our lives being a journey in which God is helping us with our position and our destination, it kind of falls a little bit because there is no blue dot. There is no planned route that we can scroll and look and say, I don't want to take the freeway, let me change it. There's no way we can see what our next steps are with God's positioning system. So there's a lot of faith going on. It's as if we have a map, but the only part that's visible is the part within like a 6-foot radius, like kind of a shine of a flashlight. You don't get to see the big picture. You don't even know that the miracle has happened until you've arrived at it. Because that's our puny human vision can't see what God knows. And so that's where we trust. We trust the process. We trust that God's got this. If the universe knows how to create an oak tree from an acorn, then yes, it knows how to arrange circumstances in a way that is beneficial for all. Why? Because I focus my attention on what it is I do want. I keep looking for that in my life, and I keep moving forward by saying yes to opportunities. Even if I don't think they're gonna be exactly what I want, I say yes anyway. Because God, I've asked the universe to give me XYZ, and I know that I want that or something better. And so the universe says, well, you think you want this, but I've got that plus, plus, plus. And you're going to love it, Shar. Just get up today and get dressed and get out. And that's what I have to do. So I do my part. I show up. I take the steps that are right in front of me, knowing that I'm one with the divine. And then every now and then, repeatedly and regularly, I stop so that I can be clear that I'm on the right path. So that is what's exciting about this teaching. There is an affirmation that we'll do. I really don't have much more to say about that. Here's an affirmation that we'll say together, and then we'll go into prayer. So if you go ahead and say this with me, I hear the still small voice expressing its love through me. Yes, and so it is. So let's go within. I just know that right here and right now, there's only the divine, living, moving, and having its being as each and every one of us. And that the abundance and the I want to say the variations and all of the creativity and all the uniqueness is all acting together as one. That yes, we are all part of the oneness, but it is so magnificently diverse. This is the vibrant life within which we live. And I know that even now, there are appearances of dis-ease, disruption, disunity, that if we were to turn our mind's eye to the news, we could become discouraged immediately. But we know that what is going on is not the truth about humanity, and that the truth always prevails. And what is the truth? That we are one with the divine. Even now, each and every human, each and every being on this planet lives and moves as one in the divine expression of life. That any appearances of evil are not based on truth. They're based on mistakes, based on ignorance, based on a temporary outpicturing of an idea that is not based in truth. So what I do know is that truth prevails. The divine truth is that Love is all there is. The universe cannot be divided against itself or it wouldn't exist. That the only truth about us is that we are divine. And the more we can align ourselves with this truth, the more we can just see ourselves as one, love one another as we love ourselves, treat each other with pure love and precious energy, then that is what heals this planet. And that, yes, this healing is happening right here and right now because there are many, many who are awakening to their divine truth. And so with this knowledge that we are one, we could never be separate if we tried. I know that right here and right now in Afghanistan, God is right in the midst of all of that. In the midst of what looks like disharmony, God is right there. God is also in its fullness in each and every person who may be affected by the disease called COVID. Any other disease that's showing up in the bodies of our brothers and sisters on this planet, that is not rooted in divine truth. That the truth is, we each are at our root whole, perfect, and complete. And so I speak my word that healing and revealing this truth is unfolding right now. So everything is working together for the upliftment of this entire planet, of humanity as a whole. And we are evolving into our cosmic consciousness, into our greater yet to be, because there is no other way. Always more, never less. The divine is evolving us as us. And so it is good that we are able to remember the truth about who we are, even in the face of appearances that are negative. We speak the truth about it, we shine the light on it, and anything unlike the truth flees in the presence of it. So I give thanks that I know this truth for myself and for all. I am grateful for the presence and for the divine, and I release my word into the law, knowing it has been done, and so it is. Amen, Ashe. And Leah will sing us out.
that was so good. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Charlene. Always an inspiration. And we love whatever Leah brings every time she joins us. It's always so inspirational. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared with us today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Please look at our screen. There are so many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. And you can also go onto our website, cslleesburg.org, and just click on the donation button. We thank you so much for your support. No matter how you are giving, please take that gift either physically or mentally and place it over your heart and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. These offerings are just a few of the ways that we take what we give and we share it locally with our members and guests. So look at the screen. We have two other ways that you can join us this week. On Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m., you can join Charlene again and her crew as they discuss their dreams in our dream study. And on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock, we have our prayer and our visioning. So those are two ways that if you like what you experienced this week, come on back and get some more. Please feel free to join us also today after our service when we share our pearls, the little nuggets of the service today that spoke to our hearts and our minds. And if you're a visitor, please stay and introduce yourself so that we can welcome you officially. As we end this time together, please join me as we say our closing affirmation. Put your hands over your heart. Just sink into that moment. Realize all the wonderful divine guidance that is within you. Your G.P.S. system is always, always turned on. And say, I am love. Now look out to somebody near you or just look at our screen, because not just you, everybody. Point to somebody and say, you are love. Now put your hands up in the air. Remember, folks, no matter what, it is all God. It is all love. It's all love. Thank you so much for joining us here today. If you can stay with us, please hang around and we'll talk about those little nuggets, those pearls. And if not, just go on your day and know that you are loved and you are blessed.